The Marvel Universe and even the larger Marvel multiverse is filled with tons and tons of characters like Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, and it's growing every week. But there are a lot of characters out there that most people just don't know, and quite a lot of these characters are extremely powerful. So here's a list of the top 10 most powerful Marvel characters you probably didn't know about. In the comics, there are a multitude of beings with insane levels of power, so to narrow it down, we will be using the following rules and restrictions. Number 1, no one-offs. Number 2, we must see their powers at work. And number 3, no augmentation allowed. I'm looking at you, Thanos. In 10th place, we have Galactus, the World Devourer, first appearing in Fantastic Four issue 48 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. If you want to know its origins, I already have a video on my channel that you should check out, but the lowdown is that he's a survivor of a previous multiverse and he feeds on planets. Contrary to popular belief, he is not evil, but instead simply just a force of nature. Galactus has multiple feats. After all, eating planets is no joke. He also has and can grant the power cosmic, which includes immortality, invulnerability, energy projection and absorption, molecular restructuring, as magic transmutation, telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, cosmic awareness, and so much more. Galactus is truly a force to be reckoned with, however, there are still some heavy hitters on the way.
Ninth is a personal favorite of mine, being Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman of the Fantastic Four.
First appearing in Fantastic Four Annual Issue 6 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. His parents' exposure to cosmic radiation as well as the usage of the cosmic control rod to help the Invisible Woman give birth led to Franklin being a mutant with insane reality warping abilities. As a kid, when most of his friends were finishing coloring books, he was busy creating universes. And as an adult, he has even crazier feats. In the comics, after he comes back in time to save his dad, he casually kills a bunch of Celestials, as well as resurrected and controlled Galactus. He's also destined to be the last surviving member of the multiverse and will be there when the multiverse restarts. He's supposed to be the next multiverse's Galactus. I really hope that we can even just see a fraction of his power in the MCU. In 8th, we have the Phoenix Force, originally appearing in Uncanny X-Men issue 101, created by Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum. The Phoenix Force is the nexus of all psionic energy in the multiverse, hence why a lot of people with telepathy and telekinesis get it. And it goes around causing destruction and rebirth everywhere it goes. Usually binding to a host, this gives the user insane abilities, letting them essentially have nigh omnipotence, allowing users to accomplish things like destroying entire solar systems in minutes. 7th is a little bit of an odd one, or odd many, but this is the cosmic Pantheon. In Marvel Comics, certain concepts like death, love, hate, chaos, order, and more are all actual beings that exist and have physical forms. The reason I stuffed all of them into 7 is because they're all practically the same power level, and without them the universe would fall apart. For instance, killing Lady Death would grant people immortality, which actually happened in the Cancer universe. 6th is the Chaos King, first introduced in Thor: Blood Oath and created by Michael Avon Oeming and Scott Collins. He's a demonic god of darkness and evil and has been stated to represent the void before time and space. Therefore, his main goal is to reset the multiverse to that state. There honestly isn't much to say about his origin beyond that, but his actions definitely speak for themselves. He wiped out roughly 98% of the multiverse on his own and almost destroyed every other pantheon of gods, including the likes of Zeus, and the only way they could beat him was by sending him to a dimension where nothing existed, which satisfied him and is why he's never appeared or been heard from again. As 5.5, we have the subscribe button. You should totally press it as well as the like and share. But seriously, let's get back into the video. 5th place is Eternity, made by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko in Strange Tales issue 138. If you watched Thor: Love and Thunder, you might remember that being who grants wishes. Well, in the comics, Eternity doesn't grant wishes because he's the living embodiment and manifestation of the multiverse. That's a big deal. Part of what makes Eternity especially special is that the multiverse, and Eternity for that matter, die and then is rebirthed on a regular basis, meaning killing him also has a chance of resetting him. And since he's, the multiverse, he can more or less draw upon the strength of everybody and everything inside it. For instance, every time the Avengers stop the universe ending, it's equivalent to Eternity's immune system destroying a virus. But now you have to ask, who could be greater than the multiverse itself? In fourth place is the Living Tribunal, created by Stan Lee, Mary Severin, and Herb Trim in Strange Shields issue 157. We were introduced to the judge, jury, and executioner of the multiverse. The Living Tribunal basically works to ensure balance in the multiverse and has been given authority over all other cosmic beings. He rarely intervenes, but when he does, his say is final and nobody can dispute it. He is immensely powerful and is higher than all other entities on this list. He even has a staff that lets you create spells. Can you imagine that? Don't just say a spell, make one. Entering the top 3, we have the Molecule Man, who I would love to one day see in the MCU. Originally created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in Fantastic Four issue 20, he was a scientist named Owen Reese who was involved in an accident that gave him absolute control over matter and energy, to the point where arranging the protons and electrons in an atom was too easy for him. He's contended with heavy hitters, and him plus the power of Franklin Richards was enough to rebuild the multiverse after Secret Wars. As a matter of fact, it's stated that his death has the energy to destroy entire universes. To expand on that, when all variants of him in the multiverse were gathered together, they had the power to destroy the entire multiverse. But at heart, the Molecule Man is really just a shy mama's boy that loves trinkets and gadgets. Second place, our runner-up, is the Beyonder and his entire race of Beyonders. The original Beyonder was created in 1984's Secret Wars, but the rest of his race was properly introduced in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers. They go by many names such as the Ivory Kings or Omegas, but they are beings living beyond the multiverse. You see what they did there? Who were created by the Celestials to maintain and manage the multiverse. They were also designed in such a way that if anyone, even the Celestials, got in their way, they could easily defeat the threat and continue their mission. For instance, the Beyonder, who loves interacting with the Marvel heroes, has done some things like creating a whole world on his own and dragging heroes and villains alike to see who would win in the battle of good and evil. He has feats like killing Lady Death and bringing her back to life, taking down a bunch of Celestials, knocking over Galactus. He tanked a blast from the Molecule Man that could destroy several billion dimensions, all with extreme ease. Remember that he is a child now. Compared to the rest of the Beyonders, he is just a child. It took 3 Beyonders to kill the Living Tribunal, as well as the entire cosmic Pantheon. They even successfully destroyed the whole multiverse just as an experiment. But even this is nothing compared to the top of the list some of you might have heard of. Finally, in first place, we have the One Above All. The name pretty much says it all. Created by Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo in Fantastic Four issue 5 and 11, the One Above All is the creator of existence and is undefeated. Many people actually speculate that the One Above All is actually a representation of the writers at Marvel, hence the reason he is sometimes depicted with the face of people like Jack Kirby, as well as being more powerful than any character in the Marvel Omniverse. The One Above All is stated to be absolutely omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. He never really intervenes directly, but uses other entities like the Living Tribunal to enact his will. For instance, in Marvel's The End, he orchestrated a series of events that led to Thanos becoming the most powerful being, and then regretting becoming the most powerful being, and then killing himself. Hence, balance was restored. And that's it. A ton of these characters are yet to, if not never destined to make their ways into live action, but at least now you know the top 10 most powerful characters in Marvel. With all that said, Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!